Frieren episode 4 continues to show why it is my favorite anime out right now, even over Jujutsu Kaisen, even over Chainsaw Man, even over Fire Force. Welcome back to the channel. Stark and Fern going on their date. In episode 3, we saw that they were basically flirting, and to the point where he basically just asked her out in a silly way. But Fern seems to be taking it really serious, asking Frieren for advice and wearing a pretty dress. Stark taking her around the city and seeing all the lovely sights, shopping, and basically also just taking it very seriously, but also calling out Fern and why she's being so weird at the same time. It's their first date. They're both nervous. They clearly like each other, but it wasn't how they're used to. They could tell that it was something else. And it wasn't until that it was beautiful that they're at the pier and they're talking about it that they realize what they're doing. And it becomes bittersweet in the fact that it wasn't the best date just because they were both nervous, but they learned a lot from each other and they learned to trust each other and be themselves around each other. And it made the last little bit of the date the best part. And going after that was a bunch of fights and getting into the Northern Plateau. And there's a whole bunch of monsters. And you see Stark having to level up, Frieren starting to have to use bigger powers. And I feel like that's going to be the tone going into the rest of the show for the rest of the season. You know, halfway through by now, 5, probably get 12, maybe more. Let me know in the comments how many in season 1 there were. They're in the north now. And you can tell that people know who Fern is. And they regard her very highly. Remember season 1, the tournament was a big deal. There's a lot of people that didn't get to become a grade 1 level sorcerer. He's dope. They go into the woods and shit gets real. And it seems like that's going to be the way of the future episodes for probably the rest of the season, which I'm really excited for, because every time they do fights and everything, they show you why like it's still so good. It's almost like Game of Thrones in that way, that you spend a lot of time with these people, spend a lot of time talking, spend a lot of downtime, so a lot of side quests. But when it gets to the nitty gritty, they got good action scenes, they got good fight scenes. This is definitely one of my favorite shows because I feel that I'm getting a meal out of it with how flushed out the characters are, with how OP Frieren is, with where the direction of the story is going, with the 7 demon lords coming back in the north. You can tell that there's going to be a big war going on. And I feel like our heroes are going to get caught up in the midst. But I don't know. I haven't read the manga. Should I read the manga? Let me know. Also, let me know what other shows you think I should be watching in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe so we can keep giving you dope content like this. I'm Freddy. I'll see you next time.